All right, top of the top, top of the top, top of the top. Happy MACM Monday. We're gonna try this again. Because the last time I had did it, I wasn't prepared. All right, and I'm talking so much about knowing your product. Knowing your product like you know the black on your skin, like you know the black on your skin. So today, this is our MACM Facilitator training, and we're talking about um knowing your product. All right. So I just got the thumbs up that everything is coming in loud and clearly and I'm good to go. All right. So our first law to being an effective facilitator is knowing your product. So what do I mean by know your product? What do I mean by know your product? I know there's a lot of dudes who a lot of folks, I'm not just gonna say dudes, there are a lot of folks who have sold drugs before. All right. And if you sold drugs, then you want to know what that product does. You want to know what that drug does. You want to make sure that you are aware of everything that comes with it. Same thing when it comes to facilitating. Same thing when it comes to anything business related, anything that could be some kind of way to make money. All right. So if you have a product, for example, MACM is a product. MACM is a product. I knew that there was not anything similar to MACM that's in the city. There's plenty of chess programs that they have, but it's just chess programs. There's nothing that takes it from the chessboard and applies it to life. There's nothing that the students can, there's nothing that is being taught within the schools that surrounds decisions around the chessboard, decisions around life, and making your next move your best move when it comes to making those decisions. So with MACM, it is a curriculum, and the thing with that is I can give anybody the curriculum. All right. And I'm getting ready to package it. I've already shared the curriculum with quite a few folks for free. All right. And I'm getting ready to package and sell the curriculum for between, it depends on the state, but we're gonna range from $50,000 to $250,000. All right, just for the curriculum. You can have the curriculum, but if you don't know what to do with the curriculum, it serves you no purpose. So that is the purpose of these these co-facilitator trainings. All right, because like I said, the first law is you want to make sure that you know your product. The last session that we did on the last facilitator training, we just basically talked about um what facilitating is. We didn't go too much. We didn't dive too deep into the specifics of being an effective facilitator. And today, we're gonna go ahead and dive into those specifics. We're gonna go ahead and dive into those specifics. All right. So again, our first law is know your product. You don't want to go in there unprepared. You want to make sure that you have um everything that you are going to talk about covered, and you want to make sure that you know it like you know the black on your skin. All right. A lack of preparation into any agenda setting is a key reason why a lot of the facilitator trainings and a lot of facilitation go sour, because folks come in ill prepared. They have, they have what they're going to talk about, but they don't have rebuttals. They don't have a response to any questions that some of the youth or participants may ask while participating in the training. So you want to make sure that you have the time ahead just to prepare yourself for the questions that may come. You want to make sure that you set your agenda in advance. If you're working with somebody, if you have a co-facilitator, you want to make sure that your co-facilitator know what the topic is, what the material is that you're going to cover, so that he can be an effective ad libber. The thing that makes a co-facilitation model effective is having an effective ad libber. I don't know if y'all listen to Jeezy or Jeezy back in the day, but he had those, yeah, you know what I mean? That was the ad libbing. So if you have a facilitator that can end your sentence with a ad lib on what you were just talking about, man, you could dynamite. You know what I mean? You rocking, you two peas in a pot. You know what I mean? So with that, you want to make sure that any members, that they can add items to the agenda, that you want to give them enough time a week in advance before they jump in, just so that they can do their research. They can develop a thoughtful response to, questions that may come up. They can also have, additional questions to throw at, to also add into the conversation. Because the worst thing that a facilitator can do is give away the answers. The worst thing that a facilitator could do is be in the program, like be a participant instead of leading. All right. You want to make sure that that you add your own twist to everything that you have in the specific agenda. You want to make sure that if it's a co-facilitation model, that you get feedback from everybody who's going to be helping and participating in delivering this facilitation. You want to make sure that people are prepared to speak on the topic that they're speaking on. One thing too, with when it comes to facilitating, is great to not be a participant, but at the same time, when I do any kind of work, any kind of facilitating, I make sure that I am actively engaged. All right, and what that looks like to me, if we're planning an activity, number one, I love having fun, not just some fun. I love having all the fun. All right, if it's not fun, I don't want to participate in it. It's as simple as that. But at the same time, I don't want to dive too deep in the fun that I forget that I'm supposed to be actively engaging. And what that looks like is I'm looking to see what I can see. I'm listening to hear what I can hear. Sometimes if it's so active, you'll smell how active it is. You intimate, and it gets active. You intimate, really, really, really. Um, Also, when it comes to the agenda, you don't want to put so much into the agenda that it's just a full paragraph. You know what I mean? You reading everything word for word that's on the board or whatever it is. That's not the wave. That's not the move. That's not how you want to move. That's not how you want to do it. All right. You don't want to overload your agenda with words. You don't want to overload it with too much content. What did I hear? You don't want to yeah, I'm gonna just keep it at that. I don't want to keep it at that. Topics also too, when it comes to facilitating, a lot of the topics that we go over and a lot of the topics that you discuss or have on your agenda will always go over. So you want to plan for that. You want to plan for something not going as according to plan. And in order to do that, you must know your product. You must know that in the beginning of our session, we do our MACM where we just ear hustle. We go around having conversations with the participants in the room. We're just hearing what everybody else is talking about. We're throwing out feeders. We just want to see the energy in a room. We want to make sure that everybody is in the right space to participate effectively in this environment, in the space that we're in right now. So that's why we do our MACM. After our MACM, that's when we jump into our activities. Again, if it's not fun, I don't want to participate in it. If it's not fun, I don't want to participate in it. So we jump into our activity, but we also make sure that our activities are in alignment with our MACM lesson, which comes after the activity, or it could be our chess lesson, which could come before the MACM lesson. It just depends. We don't want to do any just off-brand shit that's not going to come together like butt cheeks. We want to make sure that everything flows like water. Intimate. Um, and that's very important. That is very important. Don't be so stuck on the agenda. You know your work. You know your product. You know what's going to last a little bit longer than other pieces. You know what's going to bring out more discussions just based off of your planning. So again, when it comes to being an effective facilitator, our number one MACM law, we have 7 laws. I will cover all 7 when it comes to facilitating. But the number one MACM law to facilitating is know your product. You want to make sure that you know your product. All right. It's that simple. It is that simple. All right. So I just want to make sure that y'all can see, you know what I mean, as well. Just where I'm coming from, because we have a full handbook on becoming an effective facilitator. All right. This is the Make a Chess Move MACM Effective Co-Facilitator Handbook. This is, your boy, he created this, you know what I mean? But if you notice, here are our laws. The first law all the way down to the seventh law. Like I said, we will cover all 7 laws during this training. And each training will last about between 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's the training that we have for today. That's the training that we have for today. You know what I mean? Yeah, know your product like you know the black on your skin. All right. Peace.